Okay, we're going to go over the basic features of Excel. First of all, let's talk about the length and the width of individual cells. If I want to make this row wider, I can go between, for example, H and I, hold down the left key and drag to the right once I see that symbol on there, and it will go there. If I want to undo what I did, I can hold down the Control key and push the letter Z. That's Z as in zebra, and that's the undo function. Undo is also up here. You can undo, but you can see that it is Control Z. We'll use that a lot. Now over here, if I wanted to make the this row 3, taller, I can go between 3 and 4, hold down the left key and drag it down. And now we're going to Control Z and bring it back. If I wanted to change several rows, I could look for the arrow and hold it and drag along here. And now I can go anywhere in between the ones that have been selected and drag down, and they all will move down like that. We'll Control Z and bring it back. We'll do it over here. I'm going to use, you look for the arrow, hold down your left mouse button and drag over. And now I can go in between any one of these selected areas up here and hold down the left key and drag to the right, and they all change. And that's one way to do it. So go ahead and practice that. And I'm going to Control Z and bring it back. Another way to do it, and let's select this cell, which is L2. And this time we're going to come over to this area where it says Format Cells. And I'm going to click on it. And I can choose row height. So I'll choose that first. And I've got this little dialog box. It's set to 15. Let's add a 0 on there and turn it to 150. And you can see that the height went to 150. It's quite a bit taller. Now I'm going to hit the Control Z and bring it back. And now while it's still selected, I'm going to come over to Format again, click the down arrow. This time I'm going to do column width and select it. It's set to 929. I'm going to set it to just 2. It's going to make it really small. And you can see how small it is. And Control Z and bring it back. So those are two ways of changing the height and the width of cells, either by dragging along the top or by going to the Format section on the Home ribbon. The next topic is the Font section. So let's again select L2 or select anywhere where there is text. And if we clicked here, it would have a yellow background. You see the paint bucket? But we're going to click the down arrow. And I've got all these other choices. If I drag over them, I can pick any one of these. And we'll pick that one. And if I want it bold, the text is bold, I can make it italics, and I can make it underlined. And if I click it again, it will lose all of those features. I can change the color of the text. Although generally it's a good idea to stay with a dark or black text and a light background, because that's the easiest way to see it, and if you print it out, you generally want the text to be black or dark. If I want to change the size of the text, I can come right up here and click this arrow, which makes it larger, the large A. If I select the small a after I've had it selected, get smaller and smaller. I can also come right over here where it says font size, and I could change it to 20 or 18 or whichever one I wanted. I'll put it at 11. And I can change the style, just like in Microsoft Word. I'll leave it there. And those are the basics for the font area. Another area that's very important is this little tool right here. This gives you borders. For example, if I were to print this page, you would only see where I put the borders in, like right in this area here, and so on. In other words, the grid line that you see, this gray grid line, is just there for your benefit. It will not print. If I were to select this button right here, that's how it's going to print. But the grid lines on the View tab is just there for your benefit, and most people think it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to go to the Home tab. And for example, I want you to select 36 and come right up here. If you select just the one that the example, it's the bottom border. As a matter of fact, I think it will make this easier and get rid of the grid lines. And go back to the home page. We'll come to this number right here, and I'm going to select the down arrow this time, and I want all borders. So we'll click that, and then come over to this one, and we're going to click the down arrow, and let's just say we want a top border. So I'll click that, and you can see how that is. If I were to select all of these and hold down the key, one of your choices is thick outside borders. I'm going to select it, and you can see it now has a thick outside border. Suppose I don't like any of the borders that I have. I'm going to select the whole area, click on here, and choose no border. It's a good way to correct a mistake. And the borders are gone. That's the basics for the font section. Next is the alignment section. Let's select this area right here. I'm going to add borders, all borders. And now I want to make this area larger. So I can see that 5 and 6 are already selected. I'm just going to drag down. Oh, I'll get this over here so you can see it. 5 and 6 are already selected because those are selected right here. You can see L, M, and N are selected, and 5 and 6 because this whole area is selected. And I'm going to drag down because I want these to be a little bit more square. So if you could do that, and you'll notice that the number is in the lower right hand corner. If you look up here in the alignment section, you'll see that this is the lower. Let's select L5. You can see that L5 is in the lower, the bottom aligned, and it is right aligned because when I hover over something, it tells you what it is. Let's make it middle aligned. You can see it moved up. If I were to put it over here, it would be top. Let's just say I want to center it. And I can put it on the left side. And I could bring it down or put it in the middle. Or I could say I want it in the absolute middle, the middle center. So your project is to create this area, and you do that by making sure that these are all square. Putting a border around it using all borders, and then going to the alignment tab and changing it so each one of these has a different alignment. This next topic has to do with changing things in the formula bar. This area right here is the formula bar. What I'd like you to do is select on a cell with a number, and we want to get rid of the 3's in this number. There's a couple of ways to do it. First of all, you can change it from the cell. So we're going to click in between the 3's, and you can see the blinker is between the 3's on this cell. If I were to click the backspace button, it would get rid of one, and if I were to select delete, it would get rid of the other. So I've got rid of both of the 3's. Now Control Z and bring it back. And this time I'd like you to change it in the formula bar the same way. So come up here to the formula bar, click in between the 3's, click backspace to delete to the left, and click the delete key to delete to the right. And when you're finished, Control Z and bring it back. Another skill on the home ribbon is Merge and Center and Wrap Text. Let's take this text right down here, and I'm going to scroll this down so you can see it better. You can see that this is sort of the finished product, and this is similar without the borders and the colors. You can see that right here it says total, and that's centered, but it's not centered here. And so there is a way to center it. What you do is you select two cells, you come right up here where it says Merge and Center, and you click on it and Merge and Center. And you can see it went right in there. Now sometimes you cannot move something that is merged and centered. You have to unmerge it. Not a problem. You can select it, click the down arrow, and unmerge cells. And just so you can see how that would look otherwise, if you're able to extend the ribbon, you can see that it actually says Merge and Center. But if it's shorter like it was in the beginning, you can't see it. Wrap text is another thing. We have this cell right here, I3, and if we were to put anything in this cell over here, like the word test, it's going to truncate that first cell because it only lets it overrun if there's nothing in the cell behind it. So how do we get this to fit in here? One way we could do it is we'll make this row taller, and we will select Wrap Text. And you can see that by making the row height greater and clicking Wrap Text, it will wrap the text as opposed to just having it in a line. And let's just say I want to merge and center it. We'll click this here, Merge and Center. It's on the bottom. I don't want it on the bottom. Let's make it more towards the middle. We can align it in the middle. Go ahead and practice those skills. Another skill is right up here. If you click on this, you can align something. You can give it like an angle. And that's not going to work this way. Drag it down. And you can see it makes the text, it turns it into an angle. If I were to do it to this one and select here, angle diagonally, just so that you know it's there. I'm going to Control Z and bring it back. Sometimes you have to Control Z several times. The next skill is autofill. This is incredibly useful when you do formulas. If I were to select 10 and 20, Excel understands that there's a pattern and can presume that the next number would be 30. Then I look for this little green box and I hover over it until there's the black cross. When I see the black cross, I can drag to the right and it fills. Okay, those are the basic skills to get you started with this program. Thank you.